Hey, what is up, my people? I hope that everyone is doing well. I know I don't do this often enough. I always plan to go live, but life's and it never really happens. But I'm gonna try to do better in the 2026. We're already a month and 21 days in, but whatever. Anyway, all that being said, good to be here with you all. If we don't already know each other, my name is Sarah Thomas, also known as Sarah the Teacher, also known as Sarah, the DJ, also no, that's not right. DJ Sarah, also known as Dr. Sarah Jane Thomas. And I just wanted to come on today because I got to thinking, and I like to come on here when I'm thinking because it doesn't happen that no, I'm just joking. But I like to come on here when I have these random thoughts that might help me engage with the community. So one thing that I like to do is I love to connect with educators in all spaces. I love to meet my people. So shout out to my people, my educator crew. So feel free if you're seeing this just to give me a shout out in the comments if you are an educator. That being said, there are many different ways that I do it. I do it through my organization EduMatch, where we help to solve the problem of educator isolation by connecting folks together so that we can learn and grow. We do it in a variety of different ways. We do this through publishing, we do this through professional learning, through our nonprofit organization. And I'm also the founder of A Softer Life for Educators. And to give you a little bit of a background on this, I was just talking about this with one of my friends about an hour or so. So basically, the softer life came about because I felt like I was working way too hard. I was really just cranking, grinding, hustling myself down to a nub, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I was talking to people, and they seemed to have the same thought. I wasn't alone. It seems like something has shifted in our profession. I know that there has been a mass exodus, the pandemic, and around the United States, if not the world. I don't know. I can't speak for the world, but um, in the United States, there has been a teacher shortage in many locations, and that leads to many of us picking up the slack in ways that are not always seen, but lots of initiatives, lots of things going on. So I felt like I was burning out, and I couldn't do that. And I was thinking back to the days of when we had actually Twitter, right? Twitter was like the spot for educators to come together. But after talking to so many people at ISTE, it felt very decentralized. It felt like we didn't really have a place. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and just bring some of my friends through, and maybe they can bring some of their friends. And since August of last year, we have come together. There's over 200 of us in the group. And what we do is we're kind of serving as an accountability group for one another to get that rest that we so desperately need, to create that space, make life softer because life is so hard, right? We don't need to make it any harder. We need a softer space, a softer life, places for us to connect, to learn, to grow together. So all of that is what a softer life encompasses. So all of that being said, let me get to the point why I wanted to go live today. I'm tired, y'all. I am super tired. I'm sure it's like written all over my face right now. I've been wearing Aura Ring for the past couple of months, and it has been picking up my data. And it's telling me I'm doing okay. So maybe it's all in my mind. I don't know, but perception is reality. I am super duper tired. And I've noticed that I've been using caffeine kind of as a crutch to get me through my days. I know that in our culture, excuse me, apologies, it is cold and flu season around these parts of the DC. So you see me wiping out my nose. So I'm a human being, sorry. But anyway, all that being said, um, then I've been leaning on caffeine way more than I want to. There was a point in time in my life, for the majority of my life, I would say, that I was just a caffeine monster, right? I was just going. I had my Red Bulls, I had everything, just chugging on that caffeine like it was nobody's business. And then what stopped me cold in my tracks and broke the cycle was when I got pregnant because you can no longer do that kind of stuff when you're a baby. So I went off caffeine. You don't have to go off entirely when you're pregnant. You can have, I believe, the recommended daily maximum is 200 milligrams a day. I might be getting that wrong, but It's something like that. It's like 200 something per day. Some people say 300, but I chose to go with 200 as a max. But I rarely hit that 200 if ever. I would like try to stay off it entirely. If I really needed something, I would make myself a cup of coffee. I had like a Keurig, and each of those cups of coffee, they're what, maybe 100 even. So I rarely had coffee. I had coffee once in a blue moon. And then once I had my daughter, then the next few times I had caffeine, I was like, oh my gosh, you can make a GIF out of that if you want, gift GIF. But anyway, it was it it was a little bit took me a long way, and it lasted like this for a long time. So now, currently, still, in the phase of my life where I want to build my family. So I try to adhere to that 200, whatever. I could actually tell y'all, 200 milligram. Thank you, 200 milligram limit. So I'm trying to keep in the habit of not going over that, except in extreme circumstances. And lately, the circumstances have been too extreme. And I find myself going ever so slightly over that 200 milligrams and just starting to get back into my old devious ways. So I'm just like, it's time to nip that in the bud. BUD, not nip that in the butt. That's something that's been circulating online. Popular sayings that are often misquoted. But anyway, gotta nip that in the bud because I'm not trying to go back to be dependent on caffeine. So just like how I created a softer life as an accountability group for myself to chill more, take that rest I needed, I am offering a challenge to my entire community. You watching this right now, I dropped it first in the Softer Life group, but we're gonna have a challenge, and I wanted to put this out there quickly if anybody wants to join. I'm going to try to limit that caffeine intake. Um, I am not going to cut it out entirely, but I need to get to a point where I'm not as dependent on it as I am now because I am like it's like 200 milligrams used to be the exception. It is now the norm. It is now the norm all day, every day, and sometimes even more. So I can't have that. So for the month of March, what I'm going to do is that I plan to limit my caffeine intake um, through a three-phase strategy. So all of our challenges in the Softer Life are 3 weeks long. They start on the first of the month. The first of the month, get up, get up, get up, right? And they go through the 21st. So we're actually wrapping up a challenge right now, which was about decluttering. Um, but anyway, all that being said, then I am going to drop the next challenge to pick your vice. It may be caffeine, it may be something else. I have no idea what your vice is. You don't have to tell me. That's none of my business. That's between you and whoever you want to share that with. You can share with me if you want to. I'm cool learning. I always want to learn about people, but you don't have to. You don't have to if you don't want to. But put it in your mind. What is your vice? What do you need to chill on? I guess is what I'm asking you. And then let's do this together. Let's try to minimize the habit, maybe kick the habit. I'm not going to kick it because, can I kick it? Yes, you can. But I'm not going to kick it. I'm just going to minimize. I think I want my max to be 100 milligrams per day. So here's my three-phase system. This is what the challenge is going to look like. Week one is going to be a baseline where you track like how much. You don't really do anything for week one. Week two, there's going to be some paths. And it's funny because I'm like saying this, like as the ideas are coming to my mind. I didn't have it fully fleshed out before I started opening my mouth. But yeah, this is what it's going to be. Week two, then you could choose either the easy path, the medium path, or the hard path. And that will kind of dictate how much you cut it, right? You can cut your baseline by a half. I guess that would be like medium, right? Or more or less. You could cut it by a quarter, you could cut it by three quarters, whatever. But that's going to be week two. Week three, you want to decrease it again by a certain factor. And then we're just going to see how we feel towards the end of that. And my goal is that by the end of week three, I can go back to, okay, I have 100 milligrams of caffeine, and that's all I need every now and then. So I want it to feel like right after when I had my daughter. I know it won't feel exactly like that, but closer to that where I'm not like all day, every day caffeine. So and 200 milligrams is not a lot, but anyway, all that being said, that's it. So what I'm going to do, if you leave a comment on this, matter of fact, no, 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 no. Let's take it to the DM. Slide into my DM with your email address and tell me that you watched this video. I will bring you into the Softer Life for Educators. I will comp your membership, lifetime standard membership, so that you can participate on this challenge. So it's going to be free for you. Right now, the price for the standard membership is $15 a month. You won't pay that. No months. Just well, that was not good grammar. You won't pay that for any months. So, um, $0 per month. Just slide into my DMs, give me a good email address, and I'll drop you an invite. And tell me that you watch this video. Matter of fact, let me give you a word. The word is coffee. So, email address, coffee, and I'll know. Comp your invite, and then you can participate and have that accountability to kick whatever it is that is your current vice. Let's do this together, y'all. Let's do it in community. I am looking forward to living a softer life with my peoples. So I hope you take me up on it. We'll see. All right. Challenge issue. So hope to see you there. Peace.